So this is the little oil, my last painting that I had started down in Big Bend National Park. Actually, this one was in Terlingua, the ghost town of Terlingua, which is just outside the park. And it got too cold. It was just, the wind was blowing and I just got chilled out, so I quit. And now I'm back in the studio in Ouray, Colorado, and I want to try to finish this up. It's a great little painting. Great scene. These are some old ruins, limestone ruins that left over from the mining days. But they make the shadows on them were just really cool. These are just little mountains off in the distance. I guess I don't know which ones they are, or if they even have a name. I'm using my new Josh Bean Road Tripper easel. I've only painted on it once before, and it was fine, but I've got my old open box M easels in the truck that I take with me when I go out. And I wanted a little something to keep in the studio here in Ouray. And I think this will be fine. So this is all dry, so I'm painting wet into dry now. I will probably cover the entire panel with new paint, so it's not an issue. Typically, if you're going to go in and pick up an old painting, you can do what they call oil it out. Linseed oil over the whole thing, let it set up for a little bit, and then start painting on it. And what it does is it mimics the idea of painting wet into wet, because the paint reacts differently with the surface. It's a Chihuahuan desert, dull bluish gray. That's a little better. It's irregular, volcanic. These all are result of volcanic action. A little grayer, bluer. It's a little dark, a little too warm. That's better, a little still lighter. It's probably going to be a little darker than the way it'll wind up, but as I've said before, if you followed along, you've heard me say in my videos that it's much easier to lighten a dark than it is to darken a light. So we'll see how well that idea holds up. was, I remember a lot of haziness, or what we sometimes call atmosphere. And I don't know what it was from, if there was a fire in the area or if it's just typically that way. But it made for some great atmosphere of painting. Now this desert floor behind here, the sun is coming from this direction. But still it's up high, so all of this is going to be lighter in color value, and it'll still be kind of this desert gray. Now I don't know if you can tell, but see how this color kind of skips, and that's great. That's because the underlying paint is dry. Now, that fades off in the distance, and as it gets closer to us here, it'll get a little richer in color up in here, this foreground. Maybe a little grayer. Just trying to vary that background in there. There's more of these ruins that I'll get painted in there, but there's a whole bunch of bushes that I don't know what they were, just dry, dead looking. Desert brush, some kind. Time to get the image up on the computer so I can see, get a better idea of what I'm looking at. I just want to use the photo as inspiration and try to make it a painting and not a copy of a photo. See, some of this back in here, these other buildings had a brush growing up around them. And there's ruins out here back in the mining days. But I think primarily around the early part of the 19th century. What drew me into this scene was the rustic nature of the building, the texture, the light and shadow. It was so great to paint with these guys down here, and to see how everybody resolved this information, how they treated it. We're all painting the same sort of stuff, but it came out so different. What I'm trying to do, and so far, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I'd like to really get more suggestive with this information rather than so complete. In other words, let the viewer kind of interpret some of it. Everything's so bleached from the sun out here, weathered. Now these are all made up of these walls. All the stonework is all limestone and cut. Looks kind of like flagstone laid in position, so it's all got little lines and shadows. But I'm not sure whether I'm going to paint all those little lines. I'd rather try to just give a suggestion of what we got here. Stones, these are all stones. There's wood up here, but all the walls are stones. be tempting to put a figure of some kind in here, but there was some pan cactus in the photo right here, and I might go ahead and put that in there. Now there's shadows from the sun. Like I said, the sun's coming down this way, so there's some shadows. From off the viewing out here somewhere, casting some shadows. Again, and I'm trying purposely not to get real literal here. I think I'm just gonna paint over this and make it a little more nondescript. I was having some trouble with the colors here in this Chihuahuan desert, and one of my fellow painters said that he's found them to be almost pastel-like, and I don't know whether that was because he was painting in pastels or they truly were. But as I got to looking and paying attention and actually trying to understand what was going on out there, I would have to agree. They're soft. So I think I'm kind of getting close to the idea. They say you're supposed to put your darkest dark next to your lightest light, and I think I kind of did that right here. That pan cactus is right in here. All right, I think I'm gonna darken this up in here a little bit so that wall. There's one way we make something brighter, and that's to put something dark next to it. Or I can go ahead and lighten it up like this. I kind of like that idea. And emphasize the rustic nature of these stones.